Session 3, I am starting working with functions for class 12. In this session, I will discuss about the functions and its usage. Now see the definition of the functions. The large program broken down into small units are known as functions. So function is a subprogram which can return a value. It is created by programmer. Python functions are three types. Built-in type function like example, len, etc. Second, functions definition, which is coming under modules like maths modules are having sine, cos, etc. Third, user-defined functions, which I will discuss now. The structure and the syntax of a function. Def is the keyword, then the function name will be given here. Any name can be mentioned. Then parameters or arguments will be given. Only one argument also may be given. Next, after this definition of the functions, Python statements will be written. Only one statement also may be written or more than one statements may be mentioned. Function will be end with a return statement. Sometimes return statement may not be there. So return statement may or may not be added in the function. So if you'll observe, now see that function is having the header or declaration. This part is called header or declaration. Next part, it is called body of function. And next it is return the result. So return statement generally it is generating the result. Now next point comes that how to execute this function. Definition of the function, it doesn't mean that it will be executed by Python. It is simple definition of the function. So when your computer will read line by line, then after reading def keyword, then it will skip to your main part of your program. To make the function active or to execute the function, you have to call the function. So here see that the calling of function. It will be done within the main part. During call, again the same function name which you have mentioned here, the name again you have to mention, and the parameters which you have given, the value of these parameters will be passed during the calling of function. If one parameter's value is there, then only one will be passed. If no values are there, nothing will be passed, or more than one parameter, then more than one values will be passed. So here function call will be done within the main part, where it will follow the top-down method of programming. So here this part is for enter the values for arguments. Now I will give you some examples. First example, I will give you a very simple example. See that here if you will define the function, now see it will start with def. Def is the keyword. Now next the function name, it has been given as sum. Then within the argument, see that arguments always will be given by parenthesis and the function will be followed by a colon. This is very important part during the declaration, don't forget it. Now A comma B will be given. Suppose two parameters I have given A and B. I want to find out sum, so at least two values I need. So these two variables I have used. Now sum will be calculated as A plus B and the value will be stored in variable C. Now the result will be printed. Here print statement I may use or may not, that I will show you afterwards. Just now I am using the print statement also within the body of the function. Now next return statement comes. This return statement, it is returning the calculated value of A plus B. So this part, it is whole thing, it is called as the function definition. Declaration, body of the function and a return statement. Total is the function definition. Now after declaration of the function, next to make this function active, now we have to call the function. So call, we can assume that from here the main function execution will start. So I have given the indentation that main has been written. You may omit that line also. Now next function call, as I said, function will be called by its name. So function name is sum. So sum has been used here. Now as its parameters, observe that it is having two variables a and b. So both the parameters will expect the value through which only the addition will be calculated. So during the function call, then I have to pass the values for these parameters. So here observe I am passing two values within the parenthesis as 12 and 30, and this 12 goes to A and 30 goes to B. Both I have given constant value. You can use variable also here. Now you can see the program and execute or run the program. Now see this, it is returning you value as 42 as you have given 12 plus 30. So result is returning 42. Now I'll show you, instead of giving A and B here print statement, if I don't want to print here, and then if I want to print the sum with a print statement, that also I can do it during call of the function. So now the function can be called this way. Here there is no print statement in the body of the function. So no result will be generated here. Only when you will call the function, then this will display the result on the screen, because as we know that the print statement always will print the result or value on the screen. Run you in proper way. Now see here the 42 again it is coming. Now see it is coming from sum. I can put here some message also within sum equals to, then also I can do it. Now I can execute it. Now see this result, sum equals to 42. In better way it is printing. So is that clear how the function is working? Now return statement, how it is working? As soon as the def keyword it is finding, then the sum will execute. So as soon as you are calling, then control will shift here. Then A and B's value will accept as 12 and 30. Then C will be calculated and then return again immediately will come back to the calling of this program. So to the caller, the return always returning the value to its caller. So calling function is here sum you are calling. So this will return the result. Return value will come here, and some function as soon as will generate this function, then it will get the return value which is already calculated the result. So return statement, what is the importance? Is that clear? Okay. Now and the arguments. So here the parameters and the return, it is returning the result to this function so that the print can display the result. Now I'll show you some other program where the arguments are not there and no return statements are also there. Now I'll show you this part. Now observe it very carefully. Here a function has been defined. Function name is no argument because I have not given here any argument. Only it is printing. I'm given a statement here. Thanks for listening. Now see here, without using arguments and without using any return value, this function I want to execute. So I can show you the result. Main part you can see. Now if I execute this part. Now see this function 1 I am executing. It is printing only thanks for listening. See here, def, no arguments. Now during call, I'll show you how you are calling this. For the first function, no arguments has been called directly here. So neither it is returning anything nor it is taking any arguments. And it is returning in the value of this function. This line is printing. So not necessary that all the functions will take some arguments or it should have any return statement. Function can be defined without argument, without return statement. Now next point. I'll show you that how the function will expect the arguments value and always it will return some values. Now see this part. Here another function I have declared. This part it is calculating the area of circle and then it is taking the arguments as r and generating the result in AR by calculating this formula. We know 3.14 is the value of pi into r square, r into r I have written. Now return AR. So here AR will generate this result and return statement is returning this result to its caller. Now come to the caller part. Now see this part here, as we are having argument as r, so r value you have to pass. Now during call, this part it is calling part. Calling always by name and passing the value for the arguments. So here observe A has been passed as the value for the argument. But here instead of passing a constant value, I am passing a variable which is user given. So user can enter the value as A or anything. So here with input statement, I am entering the radius. I have converted into float because all the formula will be calculated. It is float type, so result will be generated as float. So to avoid any error, it will be casted as float type. So R will accept as float type. Now see here, A is getting the value from users. Now during call, you are calling area of A. Now during call, you are passing this value and print statement will print the result of this returned value. So area of A will be executed this body and then as return is returning the result to area. So if I do print area of A, then AR result will be printed on the screen. Now execute this part and see the result what it is printing here. It is asking for the radius. It will be user given. Suppose I am giving 5.2 or anything you can insert. Now see it is calculating this way. I can enter some other values also. I can show the result. Now see again I am executing. Suppose I am giving simple 5 and press enter. See here 78.5 it is printing automatically. It has been converted into float and printing the result. Hope that it is clear. So if you match with the program, here enter radius it is asking. So 5 is your argument which will be passed to R, and then this formula will be calculated with 3.14 into 5 into 5 this way, and AR will be generated. Now return statement returning AR to this AR of A, this function, and print statement will get this value of AR to be printed. Another example I can show, this can return more than one values. See this, def sum of x and y. So here two arguments has been given, or two parameters are there. Function name is sum. Now I am calculating add as x plus y and subtracting also x minus y. And now see, observe the return statement. Here return statement is very important, that the calling return will be called as calling, because calling will be passed from main. Now return will return the value of add also and the value of sub for subtraction also, and to its caller it will send the result. As we are having two arguments, so during call of the functions we have to pass two arguments. So here this part, if you will observe, see this part, here p variable is taking first input, enter value 1, and q variable it is taking integer type value of another input, it is value 2. Now I am calling here sum function, sum of p and q. This p value and q value has been passed, so that p value will pass to x and q value will be passed to y. So that add of x plus y and sub of x minus y can be calculated. As it is returning two results, so two variables I need. So very carefully observe that statement. Two results when it will return, then I need two variables. So I have given two variables. Suppose these are W and E. W will hold the value of add and E will hold the value of sub. Now this function will be called. As soon as I will call this function, then the control will pass here. Then x and y value will be substituted by p and q's value. Then body of the function will be executed and return statement will return the generated result, and this return function again will come back to its caller, and then this caller will send the generated values to its concerned variables. Okay. Now next two variables are there, so I can print them with a print statement. Additions value I am printing with the variable w, and the subtraction value I am printing with e. If I will run the program, see this how it will be shown on the screen. Here value 1, suppose I am passing 10, and value 2, suppose I am passing 20. Now press enter, control pass to the function, it has been generated the results, and see that in the meantime already result is on the screen. See here, sum already has returned two values, W and E. W value it is coming as 30, because 10 plus 20 it is 30, and subtraction it is 20 minus 10, value is 10, so subtraction is printing as 10. At a time, a single return statement can return two values to its caller. So this caller, here it is the caller function. Caller is holding two values and it is printing also separately two values. So already result, again once again I can show you, addition is printing 30 and subtraction it is printing 10 through this statement. Now another thing I will show you, within one program you can declare many functions As many number of times you want to execute them, that also you can do. So see here, first function, it is def area of circle. So area function. Second, it is def. You have declared sum to calculate that. And in main part through which actual execution will start, here one by one you are calling the functions. First function call, it is with area of A, which will accept the radius, then A will substitute by R. So R will be substituted by A. So A's value will pass here. This function will generate, return the result, and it will print. Second one, two inputs, already you know, already explained, that also will be done. But simultaneously both the functions I can run that. Now see, first function it is asking for the radius. Suppose 3 or 4, press enter. Now see this 50.24, it is returning as the area of circle. Next it is asking for the second function. It is enter value 1. You can give any value. Next time you can give 35. For value 2, suppose I am giving 25. Now see that two values already I have given, and then addition, it is coming as 35 plus 25, it is 60, and subtractions, it is returning 10. Simultaneously observe that this first function calling and printing the result through its return area, and second function it is taking the arguments and then printing the result through these two variables, which is returning by some functions. Hope that the concept of functions, it is quite clear.